Okay, so all the butter and chocolate are melted into the pan, and I didn't want to start adding any of my ingredients because I will be taking it off the heat, and if it's not melted by the time that it is off the heat, then it will have big clumps of butter in it. So now I'm going to add some eggs and sugar. I'm going to add my eggs. I have my eggs here, and I need to add 4 large eggs. So I have 1 egg here. I'm going to beat this on the side of the thing and crack it and add it into by being careful not to get any shell into my batter. Here. And now I'm going to mix this around a little bit. Get it nice and incorporated. Okay. There. So now I'm going to add my 2 cups of sugar. So I'm going to get my sugar out of here. I'm put it over here. And I'm going to take my 1 measuring cup and get it nice in there. Make sure it's even. Go. I'm going to pour that in there. I'm going to mix that a little bit. Now it's getting more thicker now that I'm adding bigger things. And now I'm going to be wanting to take it off the heat. I'm going to move it over to this. Because now if I keep it on the heat, the sugar will burn. And we don't want burnt sugar in our brownies. Mix this, make sure it's nice and incorporated. And now I'm going to take my next cup of sugar. Okay, make sure it's a cup. And pour it in there. And then that's all the sugar I need. So I'm going to put my sugar up right over here. And now I'm going to add in my vanilla extract. Mix all this together. Now I'm getting kind of a globby kind of substance. And once I add in the flour and the cocoa powder and salt and stuff, it should start getting more thicker. And make sure it's beat. You want everything to be incorporated, otherwise you'll have little clumps of like sugar or cocoa powder or butter or eggs, and that you want it all to be nice and rich and smooth all in there together. There we go. I think it's nice and incorporated. So now I'm going to add my 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. So I've got my vanilla here. I'm going to get my teaspoons out. Teaspoon. Pour it over the pan and add a little bit more, and I always add just a touch bit extra because I think it makes it more flavorful when I add a little bit extra. So then I'm gonna incorporate that, and then I'm gonna start adding in my dry ingredients next. And this is where you really need to make sure that it is very incorporated into the batter, otherwise you'll have big clumps of flour and stuff. Okay, now I'm going to start adding my 1 1/4 cups flour. So I'm going to put my eggs and my butter and my vanilla over here. And these are the things I'll be using now. I'm going to get out my cup from over here. There we go. I'm going to get my cup from over here. Put it in the flour. Level it out. Make sure it's nice and level. There we go. And add it into my mixture while setting this back over here and getting my 1/4 cup, so the smallest cup here, and sticking this in there, making sure it's even, and putting that in there as well. And then I want to put my flour up. I don't need my flour anymore. Put this up, and I'm going to incorporate it into my mixture. Mix it nice and in. And make sure until the flour is completely incorporated, you don't want to mix too hard, because then it will spill over the edge. So we mix kind of slowly until you get it mostly incorporated into there, because then it will sink and not flour over as much. Okay, so the mixture is starting to see through all the whiteness of the flour. It's kind of spilling over a bit, but just a little bit wouldn't harm anything. You just want to make sure it doesn't go all the way over, because then you won't have enough flour or enough batter to make the rich brownies we need. Okay, here we go. Here we go. So I'm going to mix it a little bit more. It looks kind of like a beans right now, so I'm going to mix it really hard in there to get it nice and smooth. Okay. This is looking good over here. So now I'm going to add in some 1 teaspoon baking powder now. This is my baking powder, and I'm going to take my teaspoon out again that I used for my vanilla here. Put that back in there. There we go. Take this, and I'm going to level it out on the side, and it spilled onto my foot. Okay, let's put more in there. It's all over my foot now. I'll clean that up in a minute. That's later. Okay. So I still have the same amount, I believe. It's tasting good. Now I'm going to add 3/4 teaspoon of salt to it, and then I believe I'm going to add 2 tablespoons cocoa powder. 3/4, so I'm just doing 3 of the 1/4 measuring cup. You don't want to put too much salt in there, or we'll be salted brownies. It's kind of a mess, but I'll clean that up later. To take my cocoa powder, a natural unsweetened cocoa powder, a tablespoon out here. Take 2 tablespoons cocoa powder. Normal cocoa powder is not good. There we go, 2 tablespoons cocoa powder. Now the batter is going to look a bit like caramel sauce, but it is definitely a brownie batter. It smells like brownies as well. It smells like fudge. Because that's supposed to be fudgy brownies, so. It's supposed to smell like fudge. I'm going to mix it here. Get it nice and incorporated. Now I'm getting that nice brown texture to it. It's a brown color. Okay, and now my batter is all incorporated and all mixed in. And now I'm going to put up all my ingredients. I'm going to get my flour pan. Put all my ingredients up here. going to move everything out of the way. And I'm going to come over here. Actually, I'm going to get my cooking oil. I'm going to come over here, shake it up, and I'm going to grease a little pan here that I'm going to, and I prefer to use it thicker because I think the brownies are thicker, and when they're thicker they taste better. I'm going to get this on with oil so they don't stick. Now I'm going to put this back over here and put that up. And then I'm going to bring my greased pan over here. I'm going to take it over here. Mix this over. And I'm going to pour it into the greased pan. Just like this. You want to get all that batter in there. That's when it tastes good. And then once I've got a majority of it, I'm going to scrape the edge clean. And now I'm going to use a tool that will get all of it out of there. So put this in the sink because I won't need this again. Scrape on the edge, come on. I'm going to put this in the sink. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to get my spatula so I can scrape it. It's nice and clean. Now I can really get all the chocolate out of the pan. Because the mixture you can't really scrape. So I'm going to get it all out of here. Okay. Got it all out of there, and I'm going to put the pan up here for now. So now I'm going to make sure my oven's preheated. I'm going to bang it a little bit. I'm going to put on my oven mitts, and I'm going to put this back in here. And I'm going to clean up a bit, and while the cookies are cooling, I'm going to start my, while the brownies, not cookies, are cooling, I'm going to start on my caramel sauce, which only takes a little while, so I'm going to put this in here. There we go, like that. And I'm going to bake it for about 20 minutes. So I'm going to set the timer for about 20 minutes. Okay. And now I'm going to clean up and make the caramel sauce while these are cooling.